Hindsighters, welcome to Keeping It Real with Miss T, where we give you the real tea with the twist. Please remember to visit our website at www.hindsightmediaradio.com. Donate, subscribe, advertise, and more. Visit our Facebook page at Keeping It Real with Miss T, hyphen T with a twist. Like, share, comment, and request to be a guest. Joining me tonight, I have Clevette and Lisa, and hopefully Shanique will join us some point this evening. And of course, you, our faithful listeners. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Absolutely. So this evening is going to be quite interesting. We are discussing something that's timely, something that's relevant, and something that's causing people anxiety. So, in other words, how are we finding the silver lining during this current pandemic, COVID-19? Moreover, how this crisis has changed so much in such a short time. We all have been affected in some form, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
definitely.
Definitely.
therefore trying to find a sense of peace, hope, positivity, creativity, hobby, self-love, self-care is just imperative. But everyone is just trying to figure things out. I mean, there is no plan for this. There is really kind of hard to structureize this or anything. And even experts to novice. Everybody is in the same boat, and we're all having to be united within this massive change. So it's really the time to focus on right now is now. I mean, people are suffering financially due to this impact of the coronavirus pandemic. So we must listen to the facts, and which we can kind of challenge and discern those facts. We have to be able to do that, but we also have to remove the fear. So the question has been posed, what exactly is the coronavirus? So there is Dr. John Grohol, I believe his name. He was a guest on this other podcast with Gabe Howard. And Dr. Grohl was like, he was giving the listeners a reader's digest version of what this pandemic is exactly. So, he kind of gave the code stating that the virus spreads from animals to humans via transmission that typically is airborne via sneezing or coughing amongst humans. Without there being a vaccine or there being some form of treatment, it's like we're guinea pigs. So it's like a form of the flu, but right now everybody's going to be a guinea pig that has to possibly take whatever vaccine they're in the process of trying to implement. Scientists are experimenting. That's what they are. That's why they're scientists. They're like the experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And humans and pets or whomever else are guinea pigs to
Mm-hmm.
all of this, right?
Right.
Yep.
So my question to you guys is basically, how are you doing exactly, emotionally, spiritually, physically within yourselves, but also within your households?
That's for me, it hasn't been that much of a difficulty because the field that I am in, OSHA is top notch on keeping things sterile, on sterile techniques. And I've been in my field for a lot of years. I'll just say over 30. And I'm used to that. I grew up with a grandmother that their family were sharecroppers, and dad was an ex-slave,
Mm-hmm.
and for years they didn't have the medications they used. Not that herbs aren't medications, but there were no go to doctor visits per se.
Mm.
So they use what, well, now we know it's probably better than anything else, the herbs on the land, but there were also ways for them to keep things clean. And I can remember my grandmother as a kid always putting bleach in her water, whether it was dishwater, whether she was doing the floors, whatever it was, she always,
Mm-hmm.
and that was just something that I grew up doing. So I've been doing that. I've been doing
Mm-hmm.
the Lysol, to spray on the doors, and to clean the bathrooms with bleach, and my dishes are cleaned with bleach. So
Mm-hmm.
being clean for me was, that's how I was brought up. And then with what I do for a living, I've been trained to be into decontamination. So for me, it wasn't that big of a deal as far as keeping things clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For my household, again, just pretty much what Clevette mentioned. We were already keeping things clean. That it wasn't a something that it was mentioned that we weren't already doing.
Yeah.
It's just making sure that we stay vigilant at what we're doing, continuing to practice, making sure I don't put your hand around your face, because it's easy to do that without really thinking. And even if your hands are clean, still keeping it away from your face. So spraying the door handles and everything, cleaning bathrooms, everything. So my daughter, she was ill last week, took her to urgent care, and they tested her for the flu. She did not have the flu. She had flu-like symptoms. So again, knowing that she's already sick, just staying diligent and cleaning, making sure that everything behind us is disinfected. She took her over-the-counter medicines as well as with her homeopathic remedies, and so she's doing much better now. But still, we're both monitoring how she's feeling, and as well as my sons as well, making sure that everyone is well. And the impact with the virus, it's people. I notice they just panic, and they don't need to panic. We are not. There's no food shortage. So when I've seen and heard people just go into the store and just panicking, I'm like, why are people doing that? We're not in the Great Depression. It's not, food does not have to be rationed out. Just go in the store, shop normally, and come out and just like you normally do. But when people started panicking, they caused the shelves to be barren because the stores have to restock. So now many of the stores are shutting down early so they can bring the truck. Now, why? Because people panicked and they went to the stores and thinking like, oh, I got to get no, you don't. Just shop normally. And trust me, stuff will be there because the supplies are already there. The supplies are not short. So for them to get panicky and get crazy, no. Even coming down, even as much as touching someone financially, this virus a lot of businesses have closed due to this virus. Many people are working from home. I just received a furlough yesterday, and I'm working a hospital setting as a cashier in parking, which I knew was going to occur. And so I already had that in mind when I seen that they shortened the hours for visitors. My booth was open till 9. I figured at some point they're going to say something, which is it was actually good because I did not feel comfortable working in that environment, even though I wasn't out in the open. I was in the booth, but still, viruses can, get in. And so I was comfortable. I was okay with that decision because my boss did what she had to do. So this virus affects not only spiritually, I've not wavered at all because again, I'm keeping in mind, just, man, always remain thankful and grateful regardless of what's going on.
Right.
And so I feel that protection, that umbrella of that spiritual light over me to protect me. So I'm not going crazy. I'm not going like, oh, I don't know what to do. Yes, you do know what to do. Stop. Just stop. You don't need to go crazy. just take it one day at a time. We're good. And so that's the way I thought about it. So I did not go out and get loads of this and that and the other. I'm like, look, we got this, and that was it. And so we were good with that. So, but physically, no, didn't have an issue with it. I just have allergies, but still, I'm monitoring myself. just making sure if I have any symptoms, yeah, I'm going to take myself to the doctor or urgent care. But financial wise, yeah, it did touch me, and I'm thankful that they are putting something in place for people, not just for me, but everyone around the United States to
Right.
benefit from this wonderful package that they're going to implement.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people are definitely taking extra precaution, but I tell you what nerved me was that all these precautions that they're taking, you walk into a restaurant, I'm like, so everybody has on gloves and everybody's doing the extra cleaning. I'm like, these are things that should have been done in general pre-COVID-19.
Exactly.
So for me,
Yep.
the reason why I didn't panic is because I use that my mantra is stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Now, am I a little
Hmm.
bit over the top? Yeah, okay, I'll admit it. Yes, I am. So I didn't have to, I didn't have to run to the grocery store and get a plethora of toilet paper or a plethora of
Yep.
food or a plethora of paper towels and gloves and cleaning supplies because I was already probably stocked for me and 10 other houses. So it's things like that. But I've gone into the stores, and Lisa, you're 100% correct. To this day, the shelves are still barren. I mean,
Right.
now I will admit, I went into one of my employees hooked me on. Well, I was kind of skeptical of trying the packets of tuna.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
so instead of using a can, I said, let me get some packets. Well, my employee had some, and I was like, oh, I don't know about eating that. That may not be good. So I've become, I want to say, addicted to those little tuna packets, the lemon pepper kind.
Hmm.
And so
Yep.
now, mind you, anybody that knows me knows I cannot stand going inside the grocery store. Thank God for Instacart and personal assistants and all those type of people, because I'm like, yes, somebody can do it for me. I don't want to go inside the store. So in order to get those now, I have to go inside the store. So I hopper my little hind parts into Publix, and I picked up like 28 of the little packets. Now they're like $1.38 at Publix. And so I was thinking, okay, there's plenty on the shelves. It's only 28 packets, and they're like the size of your hand. So
Hmm.
I get to the register. Mind you, that's all I went in there for, and some milk for my daughter she only can drink silk milk. She can't drink any other kind of milk. So I looked for silk milk. We didn't find her silk almond milk. It was the shelves it was out. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, score, they have some. Yay. I have like 10 at home left, but oh my gosh, I'm eating like 2 a day for lunch. And I get to the register, and this girl says, ma'am, we only can sell 8 a day per household. So
Whoa.
let me explain something to you.
Uh-oh.
She cut me to the core. Because you don't understand my addiction. I've become of these little tuna packets. It's like very small. You take like 3 bites and it's gone, right? So I'm like, but it's like 3. And I understood her rationale. The rationale behind it was due to this coronavirus, they need to make sure there are supplies for everybody else. But my reasoning behind it was, dear heart, you have a whole shelf of these things, so it don't look like they're moving at all. Minus you maybe a few here and there empty boxes of different kinds. But you got like 15 extra boxes, 4 boxes of lemon pepper kind, and I'm taking just 2 boxes of them with like 14 each in it. That shouldn't put a pinch in it. So I said, so Aubrey, my daughter's looking at me like, Ma, it's not that serious. I'm like, yeah, it really is. Yeah, this is my one serious thing. I'm coming out of the store. I'm coming out of my abode to come to the grocery store, which I don't do, to get just one little packet thing. So I'm on a rent here, right? And I
Of
can't
course.
get 28 packets of $1.38, item. Really? So then I was fuming already because I'm thinking, well, they're not going to give it to me. I know I can go to Walmart, and Walmart won't give a care how many I purchase. So now they're forcing me to go to Walmart, which I'm itching at the thought, right? Horror. So I'm here having it, like, mind you, on my face, I'm smiling. In my mind, I'm like doing bombs over Baghdad. But so I say to this young lady, she was like, ma'am, I hope you understand. I was like, oh yeah, I truly understand. I totally get it. You have a super fantastic day. But in my mind, I'm probably calling her everything but a child of God. Over some packets of tuna. So mind you, she takes, and then this is what fumed me. She takes them and she puts them in a little cart, you know, the little put back cart where they have to, you know, restock and everything. And I said to myself, she's probably gonna buy those and take them home. My daughter's looking at me like, Mom, are you really having a toddler tantrum? I'm like, yep, totally. You don't understand. So
my goodness.
what I do, we get in the car and we go down to Walmart. Now, mind you, we're still going to Walmart only, as I'm itching at the thought, is to see if Walmart has her milk. But I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe Walmart has some packets. So we go into Walmart, we get down to the milk aisle, and they're out of the milk she needs too. Then we get to the, you know, the aisle where you can buy the tuna and everything. And on the aisle, there are none. So I'm really fuming now. Like, Walmart don't have anything on tuna? Really? Really, Walmart? So then my daughter, she saved the day. Save the day. Save the day. So on the end cap was a whole slew of them. You would have thought that was the best thing since sliced bread, or I had hit the lottery. You know how you send it at the slot machine and all the little coins come out, you hit jackpot, ding, 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 ding. Girl, let me explain something to you later. I grabbed, I'm not even going to explain how many I got. Let's just say, if y'all need some tuna fish packets, you can come get some. I should be embarrassed.
Look, see, that's exactly what we were just talking about.
Yes, thank you.
You have to need some for
there you go.
else.
There's plenty though. Listen, I love tons.
Some people just want, wanted tuna. Some people want toilet tissue. I don't know what to tell you.
See, there you go. See,
but wait a minute.
I left a lot.
That same Walmart that she went into the Saturday before literally had 5 workers surrounding the shipment of toilet tissue and Clorox to make sure that people only took one.
Wow.
I had never, you know, as far as it affecting my family and my friends, my loved ones, you know, thank God that it has not touched any of them.
Yeah.
You know, we pray for all of y'all daily, and not just my friends and family and loved ones, but just praying for the world in general. But my feeling on it religiously is that my God wouldn't let something happen unless there was a reason for it. I don't know what that reasoning is. I'm just praying that we can get to it, learn whatever it is we're supposed to learn from it, and, you know, get better. Because for one thing, I can say that I feel it has brought people to think, even though, you know, people hoard stuff, some of those same people, one of my son's friends in Texas needed some toilet paper.
Wow.
And got on the new lines that they have, like in your neighborhood, those little neighborhood connection lines.
Yeah.
You know, I can say that about you. We're joking about the tuna fish, but I want your listeners to know, just like the lady in Texas, that if any of us need anything from you, it is open door. And that's not so with everybody.
Right.
That's not so with everybody, but there are people that are sharing the hoards that they did have, and then you have those that we see on television that bought it all so that they can sell it online for 3, 4, 5, 8 times more than what, you know, they paid for it.
Right, and that's just crazy. And you know, so supplies are becoming like they're gold. I mean, tissues, like you said, tissues like it's gold. But you know, there's this like little funny picture somebody put on Facebook. You know, Facebook is always doing something. Someone had like what do you call it? Like one of the streamers, streamers or tool papers on, like they had it rolled up on a little paper roll, and it said, "Here's Party City has toilet paper." But here, then there are other people that are saying, you know, when you go to the John, you know, if God forbid someone runs out of toilet paper, what can you do? What's the added, you know, besides washing your behind? You jump in the shower and wash your behind, like, you know, like they do in other countries. They just jump in the shower. You know, you wash your hind parts. You know, what if they, you know, they don't, it's not a big thing over there for them. They just jump in the shower and wash off. after they,
Mm-hmm.
after they go purge. So,
Yeah.
there's options for us, that we really can do and we have to think about. But there was this awesome quote somewhere, I think I found on someone's Facebook page, and it basically stated, I think that when dust settles, we will realize how very little we need, how much we actually have, and the true value of human connection.
Exactly.
Oh my,
That's on point right there.
man, I tell you, that's just, everybody's freaking out now until, and then some people said, if you want to talk about religiously, then someone else posted, if everyone is freaking out now, wait until the rapture happens and everyone finds
Mm-hmm.
out there is really a God.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's a lot of the things that are happening today, you know, kind of come close to a lot of stuff
yeah,
that is in the book. And that's not to make anybody afraid. It's just things that are in there that were supposed to happen that are happening. But we are on his time frame for
oh
us
yeah,
believers.
oh
We're
yeah,
on his time frame. And he already tells you, you know the time nor the day. You know the time nor the
yeah,
day. So for me, I think a lot of this is to bring connection, even though we're separated because of this separation, because of the fact that we're in our homes and some places they have curfews, people are home from work. Because of this, we're finding new and inventive ways of getting together with each
absolutely.
other. We down here we had a neighborhood where all of the ladies used to go to exercise class together. So since they couldn't do that anymore, somebody put a loudspeaker in one of their backyards,
Mm-hmm.
and you see all of the ladies doing
Dancing.
their instructive dances
Mm-hmm.
that they
Awesome.
usually do as a
Awesome.
group on their back patios
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook
together.
too. Yeah,
Awesome.
you
absolutely.
know we have one of our friends is doing a dinner by
Virtual.
phone or by computer, where
Yeah.
we're going to sit down, make our plates, and have dinner and socialize with each other still.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there are
Yep.
new and inventive ways that people are getting together. There are people that are coming together, in a lot of different ways to make
Mm-hmm.
things better because we're shut in. And I think sometimes that maybe God does things like that so that we can, 9/11. 9/11 was a situation
Oh yeah.
where, in 2 seconds, everybody was the same color,
Yeah.
ash.
Right.
Yep. That's right, Ash.
Right.
There were
It's true.
more
It's true.
friendships and family connections brought back together from that event, which is one of the most terrible in our history. There were more friendships and people who would have never spoken to each other that are now throwing barbecues and going to each other's kids' birthday parties than ever before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
teaches us to be more. If we allow the situation, I'll put it to you that way, because sometimes situations occur and people still just keep missing it goes over their head. But if
Right.
we are looking and being aware in a spiritual sense that this can help bring people together, even if it's your family, your community, whatever, just in general, um, to bring people together, because some people are really having a very difficult time with this. And I don't make this a priority in my conversation when I'm talking to my friends or my family. I just ask in general, how is everyone doing?
Right.
I have, and I believe this very much, whatever you give attention to, it's going to grow.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So for me to just keep saying the coronavirus is here, it's here. Yeah, I'm aware of that, and I'm not trying to ignore it. I'm not sweeping it under the rug, but at the same time, I have to continue to live, because I think about people who lived through other catastrophes worse than this. They had to continue to live, and you have
That's
to
so
have a
true.
certain mindset. I don't think I'm better than anyone in that sense, but I choose to to have this mindset because I know the times that we're living in. No one knows where this is going.
Right.
No one can tell you where it's going. And it's a lot of things that are happening that they have not leaked out. It has not been reported yet.
Yes.
So in the meantime, just continue to be thankful, to be grateful regardless, even if you get it, because you can be a carrier and don't know.
That's true.
I can be one. I don't have to have the typical signs like they are expecting. It can occur. So instead of just freaking out, just go ahead. What's the next step? Go take yourself into the doctor, go get quarantined, and just keep moving and enjoy the life, enjoy your life, enjoy the people that you around that you love. So I don't make it a everyday conversation. I'm aware of it, but I don't make it an everyday conversation. On our thread that we had, I said to you all, I said, keep the funnies going. It was just so funny to get a break to laugh. Let's laugh. Why do we have to stop laughing? If you stop laughing, there is no more life. I'm just trying to tell you.
Absolutely.
Once you stop laughing, oh my goodness, the laughter is a part of life. So let's not end life by just always continuing to over focus, not focus, but over focus on this or anything else, because as this comes, something else might come after it. So it'll go.
Something will.
Excuse me. Thank you for the correction. It will come after this. Yeah. So what are we going to do? So if we're faithful in the little things, and I'm not the one who said it because I'm not that smart, we're going to be faithful in much. Trust me, I'm not. I'm only quoting what was said by a wise man. He said, if we're faithful in little things, we're going to be faithful in much. So let's see, how faithful are we now? How faithful are we in sharing our things with other people? And you know what, Ty? I think I may come get some tuna. I'm just saying. So save a couple of packs for me.
No, honey. You can have a whole handful. I got you covered, honey. You are covered. I'm not getting back on that rant. I'm not going to do it because I'm still soft. It's still burning in my soul. So we're gonna leave it there. But
I'm just saying. I got my crackers. I got my bread. If I need tuna, I know where to go.
Come on, baby, and it's easy to fix. But things. The crazy part about all of this is, things are definitely nebulous. It's totally unclear on what's happening next, and so we have to learn how and remember. Like Lisa, you said it greatly. We have to learn how to unplug. We have to get to the point where, I think I said it early on in our thread when everything was coming. I was like, I'm tired of talking about this corona. I know I'll probably post something else later on, but I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I know it's necessary, but I think if we just, turn off the televisions during the daytime and, maybe turn it on in the afternoon and then, kind of keep abreast to the important things, like when school's going back or, when things are being shut down and things of that sort, or when things are going to come to some form of norm, because for many people, this is now their new normal. This is their new norm. This is all they know right now. This is the life. I'm working from home. My entire staff are working from home. We're totally displaced at this moment. So it's a matter of trying to figure out what's happening next with so many people. And how do you get back there? And it's causing anxiety. Lisa, you mentioned furlough. I don't know what's next, what decisions I'm going to have to make for whomever. So it's just a matter of being able to unplug and sit back and learn yourself more. I think I'm a major extrovert, but I'm also an introvert. So I like being by myself and being lonely. So for me, this is wonderful. I'm good. But but I told my daughter, I said, tomorrow we're going to sit down, we're going to cook some seafood, we're going to, play some board games and do some brainiac word stuff. We're turning, electronics off once I get from all my meetings and everything. But at some point, we're coming away from it. And but these are things that we do anyway. And that's what I mean by this being the new norm for some people. I think this is going to help people. Like, Clee, if we think about it religiously, could have been God's plan. Right. You talk about God's plan. I need to figure out how to break the world. I need to figure out how to make them sit down somewhere. They're not listening to me. They're not getting that life in general is, it's important. Sit down, get off of this technology. Well, we're all right now, we have to be on technology, but just take a break, take a breather, be with each other, have some form of human
Right.
connection, even though we really can't connect human wise now because of the social distancing we have to put between each other. But oh, speaking of that, so question, I think this is becoming a question for a lot of people, spouses. I heard what is Kelly Roper, Ripper.
Mm-hmm.
They were on the television this morning. She talked about how she and her husband, they hadn't kissed or made out or anything like that because it's just this whole nervousness, I guess. And I'm like, okay. So for you guys that that may have spouses or have someone that you're connecting with, Clee, you specifically,
Mm-hmm.
how is that for you? Like, is that intimacy part you guys are losing because of this nervousness, because he's still working and having to come back in and take his temperature and get cleaned off from the outside world? Not to get
No,
too much in your business, but how's that working for you?
but no. I think people do need to know that. Um, I think everybody does things differently.
Yeah.
But for my household, there was not a big change. When we got married for better or worse, for
All
richer,
right.
poorer, in sickness and in health. And those were the words that we said. My husband just, what has it been now? Maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago when he had the flu and
Yeah.
pneumonia.
Yeah.
And what could you do? He
Mm-hmm.
come and he still has to work during this time because he does have a job that they consider vital. So
Wow.
you get to the door, your shoes are sprayed, you already are wearing gloves, which
You got to take those off and put new
you have
ones
to
on.
take those off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those go into
Mm-hmm.
the trash. Your clothes are put into a special bag that are for
Wow.
your clothes, so you're not bringing that into the house. Hands are washed. Automatically take a shower. We're back to our norm.
Yeah. Wow.
Nothing has changed for us, physically or emotionally. Everything for us is still the same because if that person has that virus that is in your family and in your household, before you know he has or she has the virus, if you're contaminated, you're already contaminated, sweetheart, before they get the symptoms, before
Absolutely.
they get the coughing and the fever and all of that. It's already in the household.
Yeah. Well,
So
after
the
so
on
let's do this real quick. Let's take a quick break, pay these bills, and then let's come back and
Oh
we're going
wow.
to continue with that because you
Mm-hmm.
made a great point that's going to lead us into our next brief conversation. So hold that thought. Don't let it go anywhere, and we'll be right back. This episode is sponsored by Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM at www.hindsightmediaradio.com, where there's always something good to talk about. Hindsighters, welcome back. We are discussing the coronavirus and how it has changed our day-to-day routine. And I am here with my awesome, full of tea opinionators, Miss Clevette and Lisa.
Hey.
Absolutely. So before we went on our brief break, Clevette was making some great points. We were talking about, and that's for you guys that are just joining us, that have stayed on with us. We were just talking about the connection with your spouses or even your children. How has your day-to-day
Mm-hmm.
changed? Has it changed inside? And that leads me to, this whole some people were upset and some people think it was pretty okay because, like Lee said, to death do us part. So Idris Elba wife, Sabrina Elba, she remained with him during his bout of outbreak. And then she was later diagnosed as well. But Sabrina went on to Oprah and she was stating that it was likely she had already had it or maybe was already infected due to her being in his presence days prior, which led her to the decision of staying with her husband during the quarantine period. So in her statement, and I quote, what she stated was, I could have made the decision to put myself maybe in a separate room or stay away. And I'm sure that people are making those decisions. And there are tough decisions to make. But I made the decision to want to be with him and, still touch him. So those were her words. And some really, may not understand due to the social distancing, it can be a challenge when you're residing in the home with your loved one. So it's a tough decision to make. Do you stay or do you
Right.
go? But Clee, I'll let you go ahead and carry back on before I interrupt you to go on that little break there. But you made a point. It said to death do you part in your marriage
That's
vows, but
true.
some people think it was a reckless decision on her part, and some people were team, hey, we are in this together. So
Well,
you go ahead.
like I said, my husband had the flu and pneumonia several weeks back, and I agree with her. If that's her choice, then that is a choice that she's making. Me, however, I would, like I said, 9 times out of 10, you're already infected with the virus, but you do not take that chance. As soon as I found out my husband had the flu, what did I do? He was put into a containment room. Yes, I was his nurse, but being, like I said, trained on how to infection control and what to do, that's how I took care of him. I was not
Mm,
careless enough because there is still have a child here. And if
yeah.
both of us get sick, who's going to be here to take care of her? So in her case, I don't think they have any children. That's something that she decided to do. I hand clapped for her if that's what she chose to do to be with her husband. But I love my husband. I'll do anything for him. But to pass a disease or a virus or bacteria, whatever, on to the rest of the family because of my, super love for him, I think that's just crazy.
Now that might turn into another topic. That might be a little bit too needy, huh?
Hmm.
But we're gonna digress on that. That's another topic for another day.
And you know what? And during that time, it'll teach people, as we mentioned earlier, about being creative.
Yeah.
There are more ways if you're with the person that you love. There are more ways. Maybe you want to look at a movie.
Yeah.
Maybe give each other a massage. I mean, it's just little things that sometimes we take for granted. I don't know. Let's see. Talk to each other more. How about that?
Uh,
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
uh,
is, and it's just so awesome to do. So like Clee said, that was her decision. If that's what she want to do, she's already infected. So
Yeah.
I'm quite sure that again, both of them are taking still precautions and not, throwing it to the wind, but really doing what they need to do to be sure that they both get better at the same time. If I'm not mistaken, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are together. So
Yep.
I
right.
haven't heard I haven't heard anything about them separated.
Right.
So they
Not
both
one
infected,
word.
not one. So I'm like, okay, but why are we talking about
Mm-hmm.
them?
Yep.
Idris and his wife, and and Tom Hanks and his wife, they're together. So
Right.
I didn't hear anybody say anything about that. But again, that's their decision. Some people
Yeah.
may say, "No, I'm a quarantine you. We ain't gonna do nothing." Okay, and again, if that's what both of you decide, whatever you both decide to do, again, exercising caution, whether you're together or whether you're separate, but you're still exercising caution. So again, even during this period of time, be creative. Um,
Right.
Communicate more.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. You may
Kiss
have to do
each
it from
other on
different
the cheek,
rooms.
whatever.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
you're one sick and the other may not, you may, like you said, that creativity. You may have to do it from different rooms. And I think
Yeah.
they share a child together, a son. I think it's a young son, and I believe he had a daughter prior, maybe, and so or maybe they both have children together. I'm not sure, but I know there are children between them. Just not sure if the children were in a home at the time, and I'm sure they're not that careless. I will hope not, and that the children were
Right.
removed from the home. So it's just a unique situation, and I think, like I mentioned earlier on when we first started recording the show, was that it's unique. You have experts and you have novice, but really no matter
Hmm.
how great of an expert you are, nobody really knows. This is like a trial and error for everybody from the experts and novices are guinea pigs to this because everybody's trying to figure it out
Yeah.
together.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
This is like something thrown in the mix that's brand new, and it's like we all came to this earth and this world together, and you're all learning together. And I think this is teaching people that no matter how educated you are, how much
Hmm.
money you make, how awesome you may be,
Hello.
or what have you, what background you come from, what color of skin you have, what your nationality is, what you believe in, what you don't believe in. Everybody's
Yeah,
one united at this time
Right.
because it's
that's right.
affecting
This
everybody.
virus is, yeah, this virus is not prejudiced.
It's not.
Like
It's
9/11.
not.
Yeah. Go ahead, Clee.
No, I said just like 9/11.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep, that's
absolutely.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. And it's just so many things and so many moving parts to it. And people, like my
Hmm.
daughter, talking about going back to school. I was asking her, and maybe you guys can share what your children may have thought of this. I know my daughter specifically, she was like, well, the con to it is that, I we want to go to school. We want to go to school like right now. That's like,
Yeah.
we're tired of sitting here. Just even if you are finding creative ways, they would prefer to
Hmm.
be in the school, learning in
Yep.
school, and because she realizes that they're kids that cannot. Her heart, and I love her thinking. Her thing was they're kids that are normally school is the only place where they're getting food.
Right.
That is their
Hmm.
escape from their home. If they're having abuse within the homes or whatever, that is their escape. They have a
Right.
Yeah.
meal. That's their safe haven, or that's their outlet. That's their way they unplug to be able to go somewhere and have somebody else in their background. So I love the fact in her mind she was thinking of so many other people, and that
Hmm.
was her concern for others. And then her pro to it was that, well, at least no one can spread the disease. If they were the virus, if they were still in school, that some other people would catch it because there will be people that's reckless. There'll be some child that's going to lick some lockers or do some other stupidity stuff. And
Right.
we don't like that word stupid, but going to do some unnecessary things or make some bad decisions, not so good decisions on day to day. So that's the pro to staying home, but she definitely would prefer being back in school.
Yes, I have to agree with you on that one because my child was the exact same way. That was the first thing that she thought about was what's going to happen because of course she does different things at her school where
Hmm.
she's actually involved with those type of programs, and that was her first thought patterns too.
Yeah.
We hear where I live at, um, in our city they did take care of that by making sure that our children
Are eating.
had
Yeah.
the lunches and the breakfast brought out to them.
That's
So the city that I live in took care of that. The city that I live in took care of the kids for the online school.
right. Hmm.
They sent out, the word who needs a way to be able to do your study,
Absolutely.
and they fixed that. But that's our city.
Yeah, that's our city. That's what's so
Everybody's
great about
city
it.
is not like that, right?
Right.
Everybody's city is not like that. So that is a big, big situation. And, just asking not just for prayer, but for any of you who know,
Resources. Yeah.
some resources for people to get them out in your neighborhoods, get them out in your communities, and try to help with the situation.
Right. And absolutely, we have to learn to, if we think about the computer geeks, you have to control alt delete. And what does that
Yeah.
Exactly.
mean? Control
Yeah.
alt delete. Control
Hmm.
yourself. Alter your
Hmm.
thinking and delete
Hmm.
negativity. So that
Yep.
goes back to, so again, I say control alt delete. Control yourself, alter your thinking and delete your negativity, but that goes back to the silver lining. You have to make sure you have, what's the silver lining in your life, and being able
Right.
to be positive through this all, because we don't know when this is going to end. Are we getting
Exactly.
dates? We are getting dates. So yeah, we may go back to school in late April, but who really knows? I don't know. So
Exactly.
it's really
Hmm.
up in arms. So ladies, you have anything else to share before we cut out this evening?
Well, I want to
Um,
say, go ahead, Clee.
no, you go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to say to the listeners, um, we understand, we know that this is a time that we're in. It can be as difficult as we want it to be, and it all starts in our mind. Always surround yourself with positive people who are going to be able to get you through this moment. Whether it's someone that you're listening to on the radio, or in our case, the podcast, and or your friends, your family, your coworkers. Always stay in touch with people, check on them to see how they're doing, and hopefully they'll check on you. and be a support. Have your support there available to you at all times, and just take it literally one day at a time, because that's all we have, literally one day, and make the best out of what we can do for that particular day, for this day. So just relax, kind of calm down a little bit, allay your fears. Financially, I'm on board. I got it. Again, just being furloughed, now my money is is in a different direction now. So I understand that, but there's nothing I can personally do about what occurred. It occurred because of the virus. So again, just if you have faith, and I'm not talking about religiously, I'm talking about spiritually, things are going to work out. It may not always work out the way you want, but it's still going to work out. And look for those little signs of things working out.
That's good. That is good, good. You know, amen to what you just said. You know, you hit every point. You know, only thing I can do to conclude that is that whatever situation you're going through, if nobody knows that you're going through that situation, then nobody can help you. If you're in need of things, you know, there are people and resources that have been put out because of this virus to help. But somebody has to know that. Call your radio stations, call your TV stations. If you don't have a computer, have somebody else get online and see where there are, you know, food pantries or people that are delivering food in your area. A lot of these companies are giving food away free. But if they don't know that you have an issue, then nobody can help. Get on your little neighborhood feeds. Somebody right, you know, next door might have the soap or the toilet tissue or whatever it is that you might need. But to fill it,
tuna.
yeah,
Really?
there you go. Or tuna.
Really.
Because I think that is one of the things that we'll learn from this. A movie that my daughter used to look at as a kid, The Robots. See a need, fill a need.
That's right. Good stuff. I love it. I love it. And, you know, we have to know how to, as adults, we have to know how to push pause. And, you know, if you are, you know, if your kids are getting on your nerves, your spouse getting on your nerves because everybody's under the same humble abode at this moment and everybody's used to going their separate ways and having that structure of no longer that schedule of everybody's out of everybody's way. But now you're having to be confined in your home, which is a beautiful thing. But, you know, we all can get on each other's nerves, right? So,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, you have to know your emotional temperature. I heard someone say that earlier on a webinar that I was on. Dr. Daria Long Gillespie made the statement. She said, know your emotional temperature. And then for myself, I always give myself an adult timeout, always. Anyway, before this COVID-19, I always give myself a, you know, adult timeout and figure out when my daughter and we have our moments. I say, all right, now you go over there. Mommy's going to go sit over here. I need a moment. Then I'm going to come back to you and figure out what I need to say. So give myself a timeout. So make sure that we take time to pause. We take time to pause and think before reacting. And like we said earlier, just be creative in what it is that we do. And just remember that this too shall pass. This too will pass. And share. Sharing is caring. Be mindful. Have situation awareness. And what's your next step is your best step. Financially, be mindful on your spending. This is not the time to get out of pocket and just go spend and buy up. You have to be strategic in your finances and how you're spending your money, because we don't know what's going to happen next. So with that, you have been listening to Keeping It Real with Miss T, where we give you the real tea with the twist. And I thank you for joining us tonight on Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM, where there's always something good to talk about. So please tune in next Monday, same time, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m., same place, from my mouth to your ears. Thank you to my full of tea opinionators, Lisa and Clivette, for joining me tonight. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.